Hi guys, let us just start with the today's session. Today we'll be discussing regarding the commands that we are using for in the SQL. So let us just start with the commands today. So let us go to the commands. So yesterday we have discussed regarding about the basics of the databases, basics about the SQL queries, and how we insert the data, how we select the data from the table and everything. Today we are going to discuss about the commands that we use in the SQL. So let us just start with the commands. So we do have like four types of commands. First is like with DDL, which stands for with the data definition language. Next one is a DML, which is data manipulation language. And next one is a DQL, which is known as data query language. And next one is DCL, which is a data control language. So first, this DDL command is like mainly useful for creating the outside structures, which is like creating a table. Not only the table, we have like many of it, like index, function, views, and everything. That we'll be discussing regarding about it in the later sessions. Right now, just we start we create the baseline of a table, like yesterday how we created the table using some columns like ID and name. Uh, it's the one that we use in the DDL command, create. Next, we can able to use the drop. Drop is like removing the structure of the table completely, including the records and everything. Records is a kind of like when we insert some values after creating a table that we call it as a records. Next, when we start creating with the alter, you just change the structure, like adding one row, so adding one column, or like changing the data type of a column that we could term it as alter. And truncate is very different from drop. Drop is a kind of thing where it removes the records and structure. Truncate is a one which removes only the records, not the structure, just the records in the table. So, so that the structure remains the same, including the amount of memory that is allocated also gets deleted. So it works like that. And renaming is a kind of like renaming an object. Object is a object. You can classify it as a what object? You can classify it as a table, index, and everything. We call it as an objects in the database. So next is about the data manipulation language, where we start using with uh updating the data, like inserting the more records, like updating in the sense like when you alter the structure of the table, you wanted to add the more records, or like updating the existing data, where we use these three parameters like update, insert, and delete. Delete is like deleting some records according to the conditions that you give and everything. We'll go slowly step by step mm, about all these commands rather than going in a very much hurry, because it needs a kind of like some time to understand it and make it very practically viable. So that's the about the data manipulation language. DQL is data query. Like as we seen yesterday, we use a set of commands to query the data, to add the temporary data using some add the temporary columns, not data, it's a columns uh, using some which we call it as some what we can say the just give me a sec just some commands like adding multiplication and everything that you'll be seeing in the later videos also. And these is a kind of like how not only like creating the data, manipulating data, querying the data, and also like who is like having the access privileges in order to access all these commands in a particular database. For that, we use the data control language for that. For that, we use two commands. One is the granting and another one is the revoke. Let us just start with grant. Grant is like you just give some access privileges to in order to do some manipulations or doing any kind of like manipulations, querying and everything, you use some commands. And also when using the revoke, you just withdraw all the access privileges over the data in the database. So this is it about the four different types of commands and its subcategories. So, okay, like today we'll just start with data definition language commands. First, we start creating a table. So let us just start now, right now. Mm, I'll just stop share and just share the MySQL workbench. Okay, let us just share this screen. So MySQL workbench. So here, let us just start creating the records in the table. So first, like create a table name as we give. Let us just run this records once again. Okay. And create a table. Mm, Let us just take the department. Department. Here, just start with the department ID. Department ID int. Let us just start with the primary key. Primary key. Mm, Primary key. We can start with the employee name. Employee name. Employee name. Worker. And that be not null. Employee ID int unique. Unique. You can give salary int mm, default. Mm, I had like check check salary greater than zero. Mm, okay, and let us give like constraint point e where constraint where you start with like creating just a sec. Okay. Constraint. Okay. Point key mm, where um, department right, says mm, building department. this is just regarding creating a table with having some parameters. So let us just discuss regarding about the table that we had created. So here, let us just start with the primary key. So here, when you create a table, in order to have a kind of like a distinct, like let us just give like a column which having any kind of like distinct values and also like having a relationship with the other tables, like how to create a relationship with the other tables. We use here the as we use the primary key for that, and also like employee name, which we start here with the 30, and a not null. Not null is like here you need to write any kind of value. It should be a single letter or double letter or anything. It shouldn't be null. Null is like it shouldn't be empty. Employee ID int is unique. Unique is also works similar with the primary key, but almost same. But unique is like it starts with zero, zero, one, two, three. Primary key doesn't have any null values, and it should be distinct. And salary is like I've given the default 1,000 is like when, for example, if you haven't written any kind of like mm, value for the salary, it automatically inserts the value 1,000 in the particular row, like particular row of an employee or anything. So let us just continue with this and okay, like let us create an example to have an idea for that. Let's insert the records. Insert to table. Right. CEO, employee name. Okay, so okay, that doesn't mean anything. So zero. Let us just give a name as and here you could see a kind of like a error when creating a table. This is like every SQL statement ends with a semicolon. That's the main idea that I wanted to give when the error has been displayed over here. So okay, just start with Sarah. Employee, you can give it zero. Salary, which salary should be null. Okay, insert into department. Just give a department ID, employee employee name, employee ID, salary. Okay, just don't give any salary, just the employee ID. Mm, okay, just see now. Okay, Okay. Mm, let's just one department. Okay, let's just create just a table without any foreign references. Here, just insert the values. Now you can see. Let us just see. Let us just see over here. So here, mm, so here you could see department ID 0, employee name, employee ID, and salary. Here, I haven't declared any kind of salary for that in order to get the default value. Here, how it worked over here. So this is it regarding about the constraints and the commands that we use it in SQL. Let us just discuss in the later videos regarding about the other commands in the data definition language, and we'll also discuss about the primary key and foreign keys in the future sessions. So thank you very much.